Hello, everyone, and welcome to session 3 of our COVID Safe Plan Legal Compliance session. My name is Nihal Samara. I'm the General Counsel and Legal Director of the law firm Kaizen Synergy, and I'd like to welcome you all to today's session. Today's session really focuses on the reporting of the COVID Safe Plan. We have, over the past number of sessions, focused on the COVIDSafe plan itself. We've looked at the legal compliance obligations. We've looked at the reporting forms and also what work forms and user activity we need to do in order to implement a COVID-safe plan within your agencies. This is session 3 of 3, and we will be looking at the reporting side across each of these areas. And the reason that we're doing this is to look at ways to make your workplace safe, protect staff, and also ensure that services delivered to clients are safe, efficient, acceptable, and appropriate as well. As always, we'd like to pay our respects to the elders past and present upon the lands on which we all meet. While this session is being run by webinar and being recorded, we do pay our respects to the traditional owners accordingly. So let's have a look at today's agenda. As I've mentioned, this is the third week and third session that we are running. And if you are watching this on the YouTube channel, there are 2 other sessions prior to this, which, as I said, specifically focuses on the legal compliance setup of the COVID Safe plan. It looks at policies, it looks at other regulatory requirements as well too. What we are looking at here is around the reporting and monitoring side now as well. Equally, session 2, for those of you that joined us, also had the COVID Safe forms, as well as what activities need to be undertaken as well. So we will be jumping directly into the COVIDSafe dashboard to look at ways in how you join a lot of these things together and effectively have an appropriate monitoring and reporting of your COVIDSafe plan activities as well. So this week, as I've mentioned, we're looking at joining the dots around the plan, the policies, the pandemic forms, and monitoring. And this is really to support the business process workflows around reporting, monitoring, and surveillance within your agency. By attending this webinar, you should get a timely set of resources, and you should also get access to your COVIDSafe Gemba 360 dashboard, which will give you a lot of these resources for you. If you are listening to this webinar via recording, then by all means, please contact us to get access to your dashboard, and it gives you a single seat to actually use, which will help your agency, as you will shortly see as well. Also, from this webinar, you'll also see what other COVID safe systems and activities other companies are doing. We'll actually use a case study of an agency that has been doing this since the start of the pandemic, and with their permission, sharing some of their knowledge and resources around that. And this is really about sharing some of the case examples, and we've done this in other previous webinars. And this is really to make these sessions hands-on. A few housekeeping items. If you do have any questions and you are in this webinar right now, by all means, you can use the chat bar to raise any questions that you might have. The webinar will be published and circulated on the Gemba 360 YouTube channel, and all materials referred to, including these presentation slides, will also be circulated out to all attendees as well. We have also got a knowledge base which is created for weekly circulars to ensure that attendees here or those that register are also kept up to date as well. If you do have any questions, you can also contact our law firm directly. Our contact details are listed here, along with my direct mobile number as well. We do acknowledge also around this that the case example that we're focusing on today is Rumballara Aboriginal Cooperative. And we thank Laurie Seville, the Chief Operating Officer, for allowing us to share their dashboard resources and what they've actually done around this as well. So jumping in to the dashboard itself, we have looked at the plan, which is located, the COVIDSafe plan, which is located in the disaster module button, and this is the online dashboard. You have access to your policies. You've got staff training in the college area. You've got your pandemic forms, which include, you can see them listed, the pandemic emergency assistance form. You've got your pandemic review. You've got your COVID-19 daily assessment form for staff and volunteers to use. What we are looking at is around today's session is around the monitoring of the HR session, the monitoring of also things like the risk register, and we'll also jump across and have a look at setup for staff volunteers, which you can see in the top right-hand corner, which a number of agencies have looked at. And we will also be looking at specifically using the notice board to send out circulars to staff and also pulling those reports back. So you can actually see across this the reports from your COVIDSafe plan in the middle. You can see your monitoring of your HR registers for staff, and if there is an incident, to make sure that you report it. Now, while we're focusing on the monitoring and reporting side, well, from a legal compliance point of view, one of the important parts are that you ensure that systems and processes are in place to make your workplace safe for both, obviously, your staff and also your clients. And it's a work health and safety obligations that we have under legislation. So with it, when we look at this, and we've said this in the past few webinars, and we'll look at the COVIDSafe plan, and we'll revisit some of these items today just to give you a clear overlap. So with it, the COVIDSafe plan is one part of this whole process. When you look at the COVIDSafe plan, and a lot of states and territories, whether you're based in Queensland, Victoria, New South Wales, WA, Northern Territory, South Australia, Tassie, wherever you're based, your states have come up with their own kind of version. But what a lot of agencies have said to us is, well, the COVIDSafe plan is just one part. What are the things that we actually need to do to put it into action, to get traction, to actually help our staff keep safe, and to ensure we deliver safe and appropriate services to our clients? And these are what these other forms effectively do, and other activities effectively do for you. And as part of that, also pulling out the report for governance reporting as well. And we'll actually just revisit these as well. So let's join the dots and look at the monitoring side across this. So when we jump into your dashboard, let me just bring these up for you as well. So when we jump into the dashboard, and I'll just do it here. So when we jump in, we simply are going to Gemba360.com. Here it is here. It comes up with a big blue circle. Now, if we go like this, and I'll just use our demo password to get in, what we effectively see is, and it's just to pop up because I used a very easy password for my demo, but what came up is this. Here is the dashboard that we see. We have access to the COVID-19 module for the COVIDSafe plan in the disaster module. And if I click on that, what comes up is, and I'll just click on the disaster module, what comes up is this section here. I can go to my projects. I've got my COVID step plan, step 1, step 2, step 3. I've got also the JobMaker Industrial Relations and JobMaker Skills program, which we've added in. Now, some agencies have said, why have we gone COVIDSafe plan step 1, step 2, and step 3? Now, if you remember our previous webinars, when we've actually just gone back to our slides, and if you remember where we pull this from is this document here, the 3-step framework for a COVIDSafe Australia. And you might remember this guy, our Prime Minister, who held this up a short while ago. And a lot of the state premiers are in fact using and referencing this document. It's around the 3-step framework for a COVIDSafe Australia. And when we look at this document and take it apart, you can see very clearly that there are items in each of these sections that says workplaces develop a COVIDSafe plan. And you need to do this for step 1, step 2, and step 3. And it also divides up where you sort of fit along the top. So what we have done is taken a myriad of all of these documents together, depending on where your agency is based, looking at all of the safe work guidelines, looking at the COVIDSafe maps, looking at the 3-step frameworks, looking at the health warnings, all of these legal documents that are actually in here, and put together the COVIDSafe plan. And it's based on key legislation, it's based on policies, it's based on regulators, it's based on quality standards. And within that, that's effectively come into your COVIDSafe plan. So what you see when you log into your dashboard is we've taken this document already and loaded it in. You can see step 1, step 2, and step 3, and that's loaded into your COVIDSafe plan document. So if I compare that to my live site, what I've got is this. And then I can actually go in and actually have a look at my individual activities. And these are just some of the activities that we've loaded around this. Now, if I wanted to go in, and let's say my first one is around reading through this COVIDSafe Safe Work Australia requirements. Now, once I go in, I can open this, and each of you can open this and do exactly the same thing. So I'm not showing you anything that's not new. And I can say, I have completed this task and read this now. Okay. And once I click on save, what will come up is here it is here. And it also gives me the date and the time that I've actually done this as well too. So you can see that we've got all of this information already on here. And it also gives me the file notes around this. Now, what's great about this is that if I want to go back and I actually want to pull off a report around this, well, I can. I can do that instantly. And I can simply use the little bar on the top right-hand corner here. I click on the PDF icon. And what this generates is my report. And it's instant. It is that instant. And it will also just include the very thing I've just done a few minutes ago. Now, you may not like to use PDF. You might want to look at it in Excel. Well, you got the option here of Excel. And here it is here. And what it does is opens it up into Excel. I'm doing this all live for you as well too. And so your monitoring becomes something very, very straightforward to actually use. So you can see how you can actually use this very, very quickly. And you can simply get to this by going to clicking on the disaster module, going to the projects, and you've got your information there. You can obviously assign it. You can do a range of other things that we're not going to cover off today. But you can actually track your time, so you can actually see how much time it's taken for you. You can look at budgets and all kinds of things as well too. But what this gives you is your core information and your ability to report directly on your COVIDSafe plan. And it's really as simple as that. And it's great because a lot of agencies have started to use this for reporting to their boards on a monthly basis. They run their report, staff can update it, and everyone can participate in it. Now, this brings us to our next part around this, around involving staff. And with it, a few agencies, and I can just see in the chat function, people have said, how can we add staff to this dashboard rather than just having one person on here? And what you're able to do is, from a COVIDSafe point of view, you need to involve staff to ensure that they access the right policies, or there's training areas that you want to give them access to. Well, firstly, what you can do is simply go to user management under your COVID dashboard, and you can click on upload users. And from here, you can simply use the template that we've given you. And again, it'll click on download. It'll open up the user's template. Here it is here. And I can actually put in all the details that I need. Once I complete this, and it's as simple as going, okay, I'm going to add Barney. I'm going to add Dino. I'm going to complete his password that I want to have as part of this. 123 etc. I can complete this. Once I complete this, then I can simply upload this into this form, and it will automatically set them up as users, and it will automatically send them welcome emails. Now, as part of this, what a lot of agencies have done, and I know a lot of agencies, we've supported now some 2,000 agencies over the past few weeks around this, and just onboarded them throughout this process. And literally, as part of these thousands and thousands of agencies, what we've done is support them in actually doing this. And you can do it from your end as well. So with it, you can simply upload your users. Now, what you need to do from here is give them access to the forms, and it will automatically appear under their profile. So when a user goes in and they go, right, we need to actually undertake the assessment forms for whether we have any COVID symptoms. And it's something agencies are already doing. So quite simply, what you can do is they will jump in, they can then complete a form, and I'll just go through and just say no to all of these as well too. Okay. And with this, I don't have any body aches, thankfully. No, I'm just going to put nil around this. And line manager, no, there's nothing there. And I can simply click save. And what this does automatically for me is essentially saves this form for me. I can go into this. I can see this. I can then update it as part of this process as well. And with it, once I've saved the form, then again, it comes up and says, great, it's successfully saved at the top, which I've just highlighted up here. And then it gives me the date that I've actually submitted the form. It means I can then go in and actually verify it as well. And I can go in and see everybody's form. And in this case, I've just completed it. Now let's actually have a look. If I wanted to say to staff, right, how are you actually completing? Can you please complete these forms for me? So as part of this, what I'm going to simply do is go to the notice board. I'm going to select all the people here in this case. I can say, please complete your COVID-19 assessment form, health assessment form. And I'll say, see the form on the left. Okay. Once I click the post notice screen, what comes up? It's automatically been sent. And this email, this notice has automatically sent an email to all of my staff. When I go into this form, it will tell me, okay, who's actually read this and who has seen it. Now, the great thing about this is that when I log in and I can click on confirm, it'll actually give me the date and the time that I've actually read this. What it'll also do when I refresh the screen is that it'll disappear off the notice board, and now it's going into the notice register. So I can actually see who's actually read this and who hasn't. It will then prompt everybody to basically go in and complete their form. Now, what's also important about this is that from a work health and safety point of view, and for your own agencies, to ensure that staff are actually doing this is critically important, because it will actually make sure that your agency is actually safe. It means that you can then tick off your COVIDSafe plan to say that staff have actually done it, and you've got the evidence to say that they've done it as well too. Now, the other thing that a lot of agencies have said to us is, yes, we've done that COVID assessment form, but now we also want staff to ensure that they've read a policy, a COVIDSafe policy, and we need to make sure that they've actually done this. So in this case, you do have template policies in your Gemba docs, which is this button here. But now what we're going to do is send the same staff a notice about a new policy that we have. So what we have is, and we'll say new COVID-19 policy. I'll say, please read and ask me any questions. Okay. Now from here, if I go down the bottom, I can actually attach a file like I would do with an ordinary email. But the difference is this. When I go to attach a file that I want to actually use as part of this, and I'll just use a demonstration one, the difference about sending out an email is that sometimes people read it, you can put on a read receipt, but there's no evidence that they've actually done this. And you have to go back through all of your emails to try and see if someone's actually read it. Well, in this case, when I go in and I go, right, I'm going to read this policy, I click on that, here's the link here. And when I click the confirm read button, again, I've got the date and the time. But the difference is I can also see who has read it and who hasn't. So I can see Barney hasn't, and this guy Nihal hasn't either, because I'm just logged in as Fred Flintstone. So with it, you can see who's actually read it and when they've actually done it. It also means that staff can never say to you, I've never read it, I never saw it, oh, I just didn't get to the email, when you can actually see it directly from here that they have. And it's really a great way to actually make sure that you're getting your staff to read the policies. And it's also a way to make sure that if people are actually working from home, there might be volunteers or members or other staff, that effectively they're seeing this and they're actually actioning it. Equally, what you also have on here is, from your reporting side, is also your e-learning module. And this e-learning module contains all the courses for staff training, all the webinars that we run, and it is all available to you. And you can view these and see all of these courses. Staff can access it, all the training that they need, and you've got the resources in one spot. Equally, if you wanted to run a report from the daily assessment form, again, and this is all about reporting, don't forget, then again, what you can do is either, I wanted to, let's say, have a look of Fred's ones, I can bring those up. If there were other people that I wanted to bring the entire reports out, I can either search for these, or what I can do is just export all of the information, again, directly to an Excel file. And I've just done this instantly for you. And it is literally working this fast for us. So when we do see this around the reports, then again, and it's just hashed because I need to make the columns bigger. So you can see all of the reports that have ever been done. And you've got these reporting, and this is how you're making sure that your agency is kept up to date with all of this information. Equally, the same thing works across your HR space. The HR space allows you, when I've just gone into here by clicking on the HR button, the HR space allows you and staff to update their own information that is here. I can see that there's been a couple of questions around this information and saying, can staff actually raise and can we set permission levels across this? Absolutely. So what you can do is obviously block out from an admin, which you all are, the salaries and report sections. But more importantly, what staff can do is actually update their emergency contact details as well too. So if they wanted to add somebody, they could. So let's say I'm going to add Barney Rubble to this as well too as my emergency contact. I'm going to say relationship is brother-in-law as well, and mobile number, oh look, I'll use this one here, and I'll place that one there. So what we have is, and it's simple as that. So now I've got emergency contact details listed. I can also list my own contact details and update those, and I can also update my personal information. More importantly, I can also update qualifications and skills around this. And specifically, you can see that if I wanted to, I can also add new training into here as well. And I can do this by simply clicking on the admin section. So you can see if you had specific trainings that you wanted staff to do, you can actually add this information into this HR space, and it's your HR space to effectively use. And you can track all of this information down. Now, the great thing about this is that you can run your personal information reports directly out of this area here. And you can do this by simply going to PIM, which is Personal Information Management, and looking at running the reports. Now, in this case, I'm going to run a sample report, and here we are here. And this gives me an immediate report of how all my HR staff staff are tracking, or volunteers are tracking, from an HR point of view. And it gives me every single detail of who's done what training, whether who's done the COVIDSafe training. You can see I've just updated details for Barney, for Fred as well too, and that's appeared here. So it's this fast, and this reporting that is so quick and so fast and easy for you to pull this information. You can also export this to Excel as well too. And again, what you can do from here is look at your own individual registers for employees, for members, for volunteers, for board members and contractors as well too. And you've got all of this reporting ability right at your fingertips ready to use. So with it, you can see now what we've got here from here is really the power of the COVIDSafe plan reporting and building up your legal compliance obligations. You've got your notice board, which actually tracks staff again on whether they've read their policy, whether they've confirmed that they've read the daily assessment stuff. You can also then track them around their COVIDSafe assessments. You can run reports as well too to make sure that they're safe as well. And any alerts are then coming back to you as well. So every time that they complete one of these reports, an email gets fired off telling you what's going on. Now, one of the things that people have asked us is what happens if we need to lodge an incident report. Now, the incident report, which I will just show you, can come up on this button here, which is the risk management button. And if you click on that, I'm just going to use another profile to show you how this works. You can simply click on the incident management button. What comes up here is the notifications of incidents. And from here, what you're able to see was that you want to add in a case of what's going on. So what I'm going to add here is simply a case of, let's go say that I've gone through and as a staff member, I've come into close contact with a person with COVID-19. So quite simply, I'm going to say, right, I need to inform my workplace about this and document this down. So in this case, I am a team member. The location of the incident was at home, and I'm just going to put home address, but you can put in if this happens, and then we're going to put in that it happened today. The time of the incident was, let's see what time it is, 10:30. I'm going to save this, it just happened. Details of the incident, and I'm going to say a friend visited me at home and then told me he was COVID-19 positive. Right. I'm going to say no comment here, just put nil just for the sake of it. And details, no, there's nothing there. Was the fire or no, I did report this to the police as well. Okay. And we'll just say that this happened. Date and time that the unit manager was just informed around it. No, there's no evidence at this stage. Okay, now what I'm just going to do is, nope, there's nothing there. Name of injured person, I'm going to put Fred, which is myself, and address is home address. Nature of the injury, possible COVID-19 issue. Okay. There's no body parts that were injured. And with it, so once I complete this, what's good to know here is that I'm going to mark this up. I'm then going to put in that it was today's date. I'm actually going to mark that it's high, and I'll say this for you in a minute why that's occurred. And with it, in this case, what we are just going to say is that, look, with it, it is a high incident because the reason being that I needed to let them know what was actually going on, and it is a critical issue. Now, what happens when I do this and complete this form, what effectively comes up is I've got the register of this form appearing. And I can actually go in and actually see, right, this has occurred. Now, keep in mind, what actually happens here is that an email alert goes out directly to my line manager and tells them about it. If the CEO and WHS manager is also involved in this, then they will get an automatic email to say that this has occurred. And so from here, what I'm able to do then is go directly back into this item. I'm going to actually lodge this again, but what I'm going to do here is go down the bottom, and it'll prompt me to tell me what I actually need to do. Now, in this case, what it's going to tell me is this. It's going to ask me, well, what have I actually done? And I'm going to say debriefing has occurred and advised the staff member, Fred, and advised Fred to get a COVID-19 test done. Okay. Warnings about friends over and ask them whether they are COVID positive around it. Okay. So with it, in order to action planned and to prevent reoccurrence, I've just said warning about friends and asked them whether they're COVID positive. So you again can see what we've actually done around this in order to make sure that it's been action, and the system is actually prompting me to do this as well. It will then mark off who's actually done, and I'm in here now. And with this, what it's then effectively getting me to do is to mark whether it's been completed or in progress. And I'm just going to mark that it's in progress at the moment. Now, importantly, once I've done that, I can also go back in. And you'll see that there are a whole range of evidence folders that now appear. And let me make this bigger for you. So if I make this bigger, you can see that there are a whole lot of evidence folders. So now once a COVID test is done, and let's say I come back come back negative, then I can actually load this in directly into this, and it'll be here for us to use. So it becomes a very, very powerful tool to be able to report all of this evidence in one spot. Equally, what it also allows me to do very easily is to also look at the audit logs of what changes have been done and when. And I can do this by every time I go through this, at the top of this form, you can see that I've got audit logs. And if I click on audit log, then what comes up is again the date and the times of what's been done. And if I return to form, again, you can see that I can print this form out, print with evidence, all this sort of thing directly from here. So it becomes a very, very powerful tool for us to effectively use across the agency. And if I just jump back, you can see you'll have the risk management button down the bottom for yourself to use. And so from this, what we're able to see directly from our dashboard is that we've got the ability to add users. We've got the ability around training to make sure that staff are across it. We've got your Gemba docs, which gives you all the templates for you to use as well. You can load in your own documents in here. You've got all your COVIDSafe forms, key forms that you need, along with your HR space as well. And this really gives you such a single point of access and a single source of truth to access all of this information that you need. With it, as we move through the COVIDSafe plan sections and you update your plans around this, it becomes critically important that you involve staff across each of your reporting requirements. Within it, what we do suggest that you do moving forwards is that you load your staff in to your Gemba dashboard to give them access clearly to this. You review your access to your COVIDSafe plan as well too, and ensure that you can add relevant information into it. You can also review your plan as well too and add your own instances into, and also add your own criteria into it. You roll out your policies for the COVIDSafe plan, you roll out your pandemic forms, and you also monitor your system to ensure that it's accurate as well. With it, equally as part of this, we have aligned all the policies to relevant state and government and legal compliance obligation guidelines. Equally, as you're all aware, your COVIDSafe dashboard allows you to get access for one representative from your agency to use it as well too. But obviously, as agencies have expanded this to more staff, there is a nominal license fee that's covered as part of the growth, depending on whether you're a small, medium or large agency as well, which all of you are aware of as well. With it, we're more than happy to stay on the line and answer any questions that you might have around COVIDSafe planning, or also the COVIDSafe dashboard that's open for your agency. While we are opening up the phone lines, we will just remind you that if you are watching this at a later stage and you want access to your COVIDSafe dashboard, by all means, please contact us on 1300 360 360 or email us at support@gemba360.com. Thank you everyone for your time today. Have a lovely day, stay safe, and we'll see you at our next webinar. Bye for now.